Alright, what's up guys? My name is Steele. I'm typically a drone pilot. I fly like little custom-made drones for a living, and I travel a lot. And recently, like within the last 2 or 3 months, I decided I wanted to build out a van and travel at least North America. I don't know, maybe I'll ship it somewhere and travel somewhere else. But for now, I'm going to be building this thing out, and I'd like to bring you guys along for the build. So let me show you what I have. This is day one. I bought this thing about 4 or 5 days ago, and the only thing I've done to it is basically cleaned it out because it is used. I bought it with 15,000 miles on it. It's a 2016 Ram Promaster with 16,000 miles or 15,000 miles. So let me show you inside of it, and we'll go from there. All right, so this is a completely panel-less van, or windowless van right now. It is all panels. So let me open the back for you. So yeah, here we go. This is the van so far. All I did was clean it out. Like I said, I bought it used, so it was used as some kind of sketchy utility vehicle for its very short lifespan. Again, it's a 2016 Ram Promaster. I bought it with 15,000 miles on it, and there is literally no insulation whatsoever, no flooring at all, and up front is not much else either. So it does have an armrest. There is not one for the passenger, but there is one for the driver, and that's good. Kind of explain like why I went the Promaster. So I've been looking at vans for probably 2 months now, and I originally was looking at the Ford Transit because I do live in America and it's not as easy to come across high top vans. So the vans that I was looking at are obviously the Sprinter, which is what everybody uses. There's the Ford Transit, which they now brought to the United States, I think in 2016, and they're replacing the Econoline, which is what my father has. I'm at my parents' house right now. And there's also the Promaster, which is a Fiat Ducato that is brought to the United States and rebranded as a Ram. So yeah, you see this Ram. European people are going to be like, that's a Ducato, oh, there's not a Fiat badge on there. Okay, well, anyway, so it's a Fiat Ducato, and it's rebranded as a Ram Promaster. And this is, for the people that care, this is a 136-inch wheelbase, so it's the shorter wheelbase, not the 159, and it is also the high roof. And the reasoning, so I was talking about other vans that I was looking at. The reasoning I went with this van versus a Transit or a Sprinter. First off, Sprinters are really, really expensive, and they're really hard to get worked on. If you're out in America somewhere, people look at it and it's like, oh, that's a Mercedes, I'm not gonna work on that. So it's really difficult if you break down somewhere to get them worked on. And I've spoken to many van life people or people that travel around in their vans, and this is a big issue for them as far as getting Sprinters worked on. Yes, Sprinters are very reliable, they're very expensive, but they're hard to get worked on if you do have a problem. The other reason was I didn't want to run a Transit was because when I went to go purchase one, brand new off the lot, there was a recall and they would not sell me the Transit. So, and I'm actually really excited that this happened because hadn't even looked at a Promaster yet. And I was looking at the shorter wheelbase, the 130-inch Transit, instead of the 148-inch wheelbase Transit, and I wanted to go with a shorter wheelbase because I do drive this in cities a lot, and I plan on traveling around and like going into pretty much, mainly I'll be in and out of urban areas on a regular basis, and I didn't want an extended wheelbase van just so it'd be easier to drive around. But with that being said, the Transit is a lot smaller inside, and it was definitely not as well equipped. So the Transit had none of this like factory. This thing has all these buttons and whatnot on the steering wheel. It has a touchscreen display, it has Bluetooth, it's got auxiliary ports, it's got multiple USB ports. It's just really, really well equipped for a van that's actually really inexpensive. So that's why I went with this van instead of the Transit. So what we're gonna do is, I'm not gonna go crazy with this thing. I'm gonna insulate the walls, I'm gonna insulate the floor, I'm gonna put probably a bed across here. And again, I'm doing all of this by the seat of my pants. I've never done anything like this before. And I'm not really huge into carpentry at all. I'm an electronics engineer by trade, and I'm going to do solar, so that's pretty much all the stuff that I have experience with as far as wiring is concerned. But yeah, building stuff out, making platforms and whatnot, I don't really have much experience with, so you're gonna see the struggle, or maybe not. But what I plan on doing is just putting a window in, putting a fan in, insulating this thing, putting some wood paneling up on the walls to make it look pretty nice, putting a bed in, running a bunch of storage under the bed, maybe having a sink. I'm still on the fence about whether I want a sink or not. I'm pretty sure I want running water, and I'll need a table of some sort to be able to work on my quadcopters, because that is what I do for a living, is fly around and make videos and make YouTube videos and whatnot. So again, this is new to me. I don't know exactly what's gonna happen, but today, as in day one that I'm gonna start working on this thing, we're gonna put a window in right here. I actually ordered the wrong window. I ordered a window for the door, and me, unbeknownst to the internet, being confused, this is slightly different than this side. So I was torn between which side I wanted to put it on, because I thought it was universal, and I wanted this side because if I was cooking or whatever, if I had a bench here, I'd like to be able to have natural light. But with this side, it was like, hey, do I get rid of this blind spot? Because when you look back, when you're driving, you can see out of that window, and it's a little bit easier to see. So that was kind of like, I wanted to put it on this side for the blind spot, and this side for cooking and whatnot. Anyways, I can only put it on this side, so that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna cut a hole in the van. Instead of just cutting a hole in a door, where I could possibly replace the door for fairly inexpensively, not really, but you know, it's a little less expensive than replacing the entire van. So anyways, we're gonna do that. We're gonna cut a hole in the side of the van instead of the door. Let's do that.
You ready?
I guess.
John, you need glasses.
There's a hole in the van now. Oh god.
Okay. See how easy that is to cut. Blows.
Fucking hole in the van. Paint me a model. A big ass model. Alright. Window is in. That was hard. A lot harder than expected. But it's done.
What do we do it for? For the